wait a minute, something ain't right.
Can I talk?
Yeah, what's
you
the
mind?
answer?
Do you mind?
I would like for you to answer the question.
Okay, it's very simple to answer.
That's why I asked it.
It's very simple to, you're a nasty person, I'll tell you.
Jonathan Leslie, he's 40, Republican, voted for Trump twice. How do you feel about those lies?
So I feel like part of it's also the media narrative, as you guys asked him the first question at the town hall about the 2020 election.
Exactly.
Rather than current stuff.
So don't you think he could say it's time for me to start talking about 2024 and not lies that aren't true?
Couldn't the media ask him a question about 2024?
Exactly. That's what I'm talking about.
Here is a thinker for you. You see, the average people, we can see right through you. Hello, friends. Welcome to the PJR YouTube channel. Listen, this is CNN. This is after the town hall with President Donald J. Trump. Man, he was brutal. Let's just put it that way. So these are voters that were part of the town hall. They weighed in on Trump's performance, and it's good to hear their perspective because what they're saying, I'm thinking about. And I really want to go through this video and just to show you the average American is thinking very different than those in the media and those politicians. Because we've seen the world in a whole different way than they do. And I think they speak for many of us. So like and subscribe to the page, click the bell icon for more if you happen to be new. Without further ado, let's get into the heart of this message.
Sense of how tonight's town hall with the former president played with some of New Hampshire's Republican and undeclared voters who were in the audience. Want to go to CNN's Gary Tuckman, who's with the group of them now. Gary?
Anderson, 8 people were with. They were in the audience. What they also have in common is none of them have voted in the past for either Joe Biden or Hillary Clinton. 6 of them voted for Donald Trump in the past. 1 didn't vote in the past 2 elections. 1 was too young to vote. But that's what they have in common, that most of them are Trump supporters. What I want to ask you first of all is, do you think, show of hands, anybody think Donald Trump looks better after this town hall? Any of you think he looks worse? Any of you think the same thing about him as you did when you walked in? So all of you feel that way. First thing I want to ask you about, Donald Trump, we have to be blunt about it, is not a truth teller. That's the way he's always been when he was a businessman, he's been a politician. He has lied about...
I hate when they do this. I hate when they do that. If you're going to ask a question, just ask a question. Don't tell me what to think about. Don't actually formulate the answer for me. So he's setting the stage here. Donald Trump is not a truth teller. So in other words, by you saying that, you're already telling me what to answer. You're telling me what to think. Ask your question, boy. It's like, why do you need to do this? Anyway, I love how they responded, though.
About the 2020 election. About Donald Trump, we have to be blunt about it, is not a truth teller. That's the way he's always been when he was a businessman, he's been a politician. He has lied about the 2020 election. Stuffed ballot boxes, it's all made up. He's lost dozens of court cases.
Look at their faces. You think these are people you could deceive? You see these people here? They can see right through you. They can see right through you, boy. And they're looking at him like,
bother you that he keeps talking about 2020 and not 2024? I'll ask you first. This is Jonathan Leslie. He's 40, Republican, voted for Trump twice. How do you feel about those lies?
So I feel like part of it's also the media narrative, as you guys asked him the first question at the town hall about the 2020 election.
Exactly.
Rather than current stuff.
So don't you think he could say it's time for me to start talking about 2024 and not lies that aren't true?
Couldn't the media ask him a question about 2024?
Exactly. That's what I'm talking about.
here is a thinker for you. You see, the average people, we can see right through you. You said you guys, CNN, wanted to bring Trump over for people to ask him question. You give him a stage. But instead, you had Caitlyn debating, arguing with the president, disrespecting the president, calling him all kind of funny names, and he had to call her out on her hypocrisy and disrespect. That wasn't right. This was not a debate. That's not how you treat a former president. You don't talk to him like he's a child. Who do you think you are? Show some respect. Now, she done did that stuff. They promote her and say she was great. you handle him amazingly well. It's like, give us a break. And when you read the comments, we see something completely different. We're like, yo, he beat y'all down. he beat y'all down. And now you're going to ask these people questions. And I love what he says. Couldn't you ask that question? Don't say Trump is the problem. You created that narrative. You started this debate asking stupid questions that we don't even care about.
24, not lies that aren't true.
Couldn't the media ask him a question about 2024?
Exactly, couldn't they? I love that because that is how I feel. That's what, duh. Y'all still talking about January 6th. You still talking about ballots. You still talking about, like, for the vast majority of us, we are ready to move on.
Well, there were questions, but you're right, that was the first thing, but that's something that was on our mind. That's why I was asked first. Mike McLaughlin is 21. He is undeclared, which is what you do in New Hampshire if you want to be independent. But he voted for Trump in 2020. Mike, same thing to you. What do you feel about Trump continuing to talk about those mistruths from 2020?
Personally, I'm getting tired of hearing about it. I'm very much more so interested in the problems that we face now, and I would prefer to hear him discuss the present issues more so than going to the past.
65-year-old Stephen Farnsworth, Republican,
I agree.
voted for Trump
I'm
twice.
tired of
Your
it too.
opinion about that?
Well, I think that
I do agree with that young man. Trump does need to move on from that. Okay, it did happen. He's allowed to have his opinion. He's voiced his opinion about this. I think there were some things that happened back then that were very questionable. Highly likely the election was rigged. Okay, but let's move on. Okay, 2024 is coming. There are real issues we need to talk about. Okay, your voting bloc is stronger than ever before. Your chance of winning is extremely high as a president. Let's move on. Let's stop talking about this. Leave this stuff with the dams. But at the same time, I do believe talking about it could be a mean to prevent it as well. We don't just ignore what was done wrong. Sometimes it's good to talk about it so that we can do things differently next time. What if the same principles that were applied that back then that Trump is very much convinced that he lost the election for, what if these same things, the same rules are once again reapplied, which could also mean it could lose again. You know what I'm saying? So ignoring it is not a good thing. Talking too much about it is not a good thing either. That's my position on that. You can agree or disagree.
he's committed to it. That's what he feels. That's what he thinks.
Well, do you
And
think he
he's not
thinks
gonna-
that, or do you think
No,
he just keeps saying it to try to will it for people like you to believe
No,
it?
I think he actually thinks it.
You do?
No, he may.
Even though he keeps losing in the courts over and over again.
He does say what's on
He's
his mind.
horrible.
Okay. Do you,
The guy that's asking questions is extremely horrible. What's his name? Gary Tuchman? Yeah, Tuchman, all right.
do you think so? That it was a rigged election?
I'll abstain.
You'll abstain, okay. All right, the next person on our list, 64-year-old, and you don't mind me saying your age, Cindy Oning, do you?
Not at all.
Okay, we were joking about that
For at least
before.
one more month.
Yeah, she's a Republican. She didn't vote in the past 2 presidential elections. How come you didn't vote, A, and B, what do you feel about the continuation of these lies about 2020?
You know, I don't
Yo, why he keep asking the same questions that nobody cares about? We want to move on.
know what's a lie anymore, but I think there needs to be a new narrative.
Yeah,
And what's the new narrative?
thank you.
Current situations that are, involving all of us.
Current situations. But when you say you don't know what's a lie is a lie. I mean, all these courts have said that there's one of the
Oh
stuff.
my goodness, I'm so tired of him. A lie is a lie. This is what CNN did wrong with this whole thing. Where is my special button for people who talk like this? You don't even get some music. I got a button for him. The thing is, you brought Trump to your platform. You had him totally disrespected, even though he did have a fan base that was supporting him. But the girl who was doing the questioning, Caitlyn, she was rude. All right, she was cutting him off. She was interjecting and disrespecting him. That's not how it's supposed to go. The people were supposed to be asking questions. She was supposed to add on, and actually hear the perspective of the man and his plans as a front man who's running for the Conservative Party. These were the way this stuff was supposed to go, but that's not how it went. Now you brought these people in here. You asking the same dumb questions that you asked the president. So you went after the president. Now you're going after the people. But these people, I love their attitude. They're not moved by this. They are solid in their belief. and they're just stating it like it is. These people are so out of touch with reality. I don't understand why. You can talk about real issues. You can even ask these people real questions. There were questions you were asking Donald Trump that were completely unnecessary, right? You wasted time and hours, 75 something minutes talking about this nonsense. Well, I think they cut it short to like 70 because they just couldn't take, he was too much for her. But nevertheless, you waste all this time talking about that. Now, here you have the voters in front of you. They were part of the town hall meeting, right? You have the chance to understand why they feel the way they feel, what they would like to see, what is it that they love about Trump? Why do they support Trump? What are the policies that he has? You can ask honest questions. And they're telling you over and again, I'm ready to move on. I'm ready to move on. We have bigger issues. 2020 already happened. Okay, fine. Mr. Biden is in the presidency. He ain't doing nothing with it. Nevertheless, we're going to move on from that. And he's still asking the same question. It's been 3 minutes. When are you going to learn?
Ballot things he's talking about was in Fulton County, Georgia. No stuffed ballots. I was there. I was watching with my own eyes.
Oh,
And
mercy.
none of it's true. And I think a lot of people think he tries to will it to be true. Would you agree with that?
Yes.
Okay. In that corner right there, that's Noel Licata. He's 18. First election coming up. He's currently undeclared, but leaning Republican. What do you feel about him still talking about 2020 and these things?
I don't think anybody wants to hear about 2020 at this point. Everybody wants to hear about 2024, the future, and what comes after that.
Amen. 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 Can we stop now? Can we stop? Like, grow up. Move on, brother. Okay. It did happen. We have a lot of questions. We have doubts. We don't like the results. Some things were very questionable. But guess what? Things happen. All right? In this world of sin, wickedness, fraud, wickedness, hungry for power, things happen. But there comes a point where you have to say, it is what it is. We're going to deal with it. We're going to put it behind us. We got a country to save. All right? We got a nation and some children to love and protect. Let's move on. I love this young man's
What do you
answer.
feel about him still talking about 2020 and these things?
I don't think anybody wants to hear about 2020 at this point.
I don't.
Everybody wants to hear about 2024, the future, and what comes after that.
Amen.
And he did not talk enough about that tonight.
But the sad reality is he wasn't asked any question about that either. I think there was probably one question about economy that was somewhat decent about that. But again, he talked about what they were asking him about. But the people in the crowd did ask some decent questions, and he answered those accordingly. But the Caitlin, who was doing the interview, was debating the president, cutting him off, interjecting, giving him a piece of her mind. They didn't give him a chance to talk about anything either. So what else was he supposed to do? I'm not here trying to justify Trump like he's a perfect and holy and righteous and sinless man. No, just be real about the thing. The man wasn't given the proper respect. And no wonder why he called her nasty.
Alyssa Malloy. Alyssa's 37. She's a registered Republican, voted for Trump twice. Your feeling about this?
I think it's time to move on from the election, the 2020 election.
Do his fibs offend you?
I think he truly believes it.
You do too.
I think that's what he truly believes. I think a lot of his supporters believe it. Not all of them, but there are a lot of people who do believe it, and he tries to, go along with that, and I would agree that he wills it to be true.
Let me ask 22-year-old Cooper Walsh, who is also undeclared but voted for Trump in 2020. Do you think Trump believes that stuff?
Yo, he's asking this. I'm done with this dude. Like, he sat down and he asked one question, and he's going from one person to another and get them to think. Like, bruh, you have the opportunity to understand the heart of the people. Guess what? This is your time. You want your viewership to increase? Appeal to the mega Republican. Anyway, appeal to the people who love Trump. Look how well CNN is doing as a result of bringing Trump over there. Now you get to sit with the people after the town hall. You talking nonsense. You ain't saying nothing. You're not appealing to their hearts. You're not asking them questions that they care about. You're not talking about what would you like to see from the president? What are the plans? What values and policies do you care about? And they're saying, I'm ready to move on. I'm ready to move on. I'm ready to move on. So let's move on and talk about something that they probably care. No, you're still talking about what you care about. This is why CNN is failing right there. They refuse to grow up. They refuse to understand the mind of the people. Why? Because they care about what they want to care about, what their supposed ad revenues payers care about, their hatred for Trump, Trump derangement syndrome. That's what they care about. Orange man bad, orange man bad. But instead, you refuse to listen when people are talking to you.
I definitely do think he believes it. I think he's very passionate about it, or else he probably wouldn't still be talking about it. But I think that it's time for him to move on. He needs to talk about what he's going to accomplish in 2024. And I also think the media shouldn't have focused on the huge segment on the 2020 issue. We already know what he thinks about it. I think we should be talking about more of the other issues that the questions had in the audience.
But would it be...
I love that. He did address Donald Trump's way of doing this matter. Talking about it too much is not good either. And he called the media under hypocrisy. Well done. Very balanced. Now listen to this one.
Helpful. Karen Olson, who's 56. She's undeclared, not registered Republican or Democrat, but voted for Trump twice. Wouldn't it be good if he would just say, I'm ready to move on. It's 2024. I'm going to stop lying. I'm going to be honest about it and move on. Wouldn't that be helpful? And then the news media wouldn't ask him about it.
This is crazy. The news media wouldn't ask him about it. No, listen. You guys refuse to let him move on. Yeah, he's talked about it, and he does talk about it somewhat too much. I agree. But you guys use that against him. You turn it into a weapon. You weaponize it against him. So therefore, he plays the defense. He's reacting. So you guys are, you making Trump the person he is. Some of these people don't realize Trump has become what he is and who he is because of you. the attention, the way you talk, the way you address him, how you treat him is the reason why we have Trump the way he is now. You don't know what to do with him. You've created him. The media created Trump. Now, they've done created Trump. They don't know how to handle Trump. You better love him now. Like you created that. And I'm like, you know what? Trump 2024 for me. I'm like, it is what it is. Now he's tearing you apart. But you can't do without him. You still gotta bring him to your platform because you can get some views. Because you're desperate for some Trump love. You can't do without him. And anyway.
How did if he would acknowledge it?
I'd like him to move on. I would like him to stop talking about it, but it is his opinion.
Yep.
So you have to attach that caveat, lie all the time. It just keeps it going. So it's his opinion, and he has a right to have it.
All right, just yesterday, a 9-member jury found Donald Trump liable for sexual abuse. And he's continuing to mock Jean Carroll, this woman who was sexually abused, according to this jury. He also says that that was rigged. You know, this not only is a jury of his peers, he's a New Yorker. He may live in Mar-a-Lago right now, that mansion in Palm Beach, Florida, but he was born and raised in Queens, New York, wanted to make it big with his father in Manhattan, did.
But it's a Democrat's state, man. It's a Democratic state. Like, they all hate Trump. So you think they're going to just give him a fair trial? Like, come on, man. Like, come on, man. Give me some common sense.
New Yorker, this was truly a jury of his peers. How does it make you feel that he's still making fun of this woman? I'm going to ask the women that question.
It's uncomfortable. It's definitely uncomfortable. And I just don't know what to think anymore.
How do you feel about that?
It makes me uncomfortable. I haven't followed it too closely.
I like that.
So I
agreed.
I don't feel like I have a strong opinion.
And how do you feel? I mean, this was a jury. These jurors weren't told, you have to say this. This is our system in the United States of America. This is an amazing system. It's not a perfect system, but it is an amazing system, particularly compared to lots of other countries. They agreed on this. And here he is at this town hall today. I've never met her before.
That doesn't mean they can be wrong. That doesn't mean they're not motivated by, Trump derangement syndrome. That doesn't mean this is not a political move. Don't you know a jury, as well as even judges, could be corrupted? Like, what is this man talking about? I don't know about the case, but when I listen to the case and that woman, I said, man, that woman got some serious issues. I don't even know why anybody will believe anything she says. But who am I to judge?
Or just in making fun of her. How did that make you feel as a woman?
You see, they're trying to play on the emotion thing. I hate when they do that. So how do you make you feel as a woman? Ask one of those men how they feel. The emotion, they're just trying to appeal to the woman's emotion. That's all I'm telling you, ladies. You got to be careful with this. These liberals, these Democrats, these people, they know how to pull your emotional string and get you to fall in line with their values. Well, I don't think they have any values. Unscrupulous principles, whatever that is. But the thing is, stop doing that. You're asking this question to a woman, but hey, let's listen to what she says.
I didn't really care.
Why didn't you care?
I wish they had a couple black, I hate to make it color, but a couple black conservatives in there. Officer Tatum or black conservative perspective, maybe a Candace Owens. Oh, no, they can't handle that. I wish they had a couple of those sitting in the moon. Just one or two black conservatives. We'll give you a piece of our minds. She said, I don't really care.
I didn't really care.
I ain't gonna care.
Why didn't you care?
I don't know enough about the case. Women can be victims of abuse. Women can also make up stories. I mean, we see it all the time. So I don't know. All of these situations where people are coming out 20, 30 years later, I don't listen to it.
One more question for you, Mike Pence. He said regarding January 6th that he doesn't think Pence was in danger. He doesn't feel the need to apologize to him.
Do you notice how these questions are formulated? Do you notice how he addresses the crowd? He has nothing good to say about Trump. He doesn't even care about whether or not these people love Trump for any particular reason. He's not trying to understand where they plan on going. The goal here is to subvert not only their mentality, their belief system, to subvert anybody who has any belief in Trump. That's the goal of this conversation. It is not to be informed. It is not to understand. It is not to understand why people vote for Trump or feel the way they feel about Trump. That is completely insignificant to them. What they care about, changing your mind. What they care about is you need to hate Trump just like I hate Trump. What they care about is to see Trump in the same negative light that I see him in. That's what they care about. But these people are pushing back.
Not offend any of you. That he's not willing to tell Mike Pence, I'm sorry, you could have been hanged. Anyone offended by that?
I'm sorry.
Sure.
Oh, you are. And the final question, any of you ready to say you're ready?
She said, sure. But you could tell she said sure just to like get rid of him. Sure.
Sure.
I know that's what you want to hear. I'm going to tell you anyway so you can get away from me.
You are. And the final question, any of you ready to say you're ready to vote for Donald Trump in 2024? I am. You are?
Sure.
One person. The rest of you not ready to say that yet.
They don't have to, because they have to stop talking to you because they're not getting anywhere with you. Wow, these people are amazing. I'll tell you what, they handle themselves pretty well, though. CNN is a mess, boy. They are a mess. They are a mess, but they know who to do it to. Do it to the people that they think they can control, people that they think they can manipulate. But I'm so glad that these people, they weren't moved. They weren't moved. They actually stood firm, spoke their opinion. I love that. Yeah. So I got a text here. There's a text in scripture. I love this because he talks about, yeah, there it is. Proverbs 17:12. Look at this, and then we're done. Yeah, they don't know what to do with Trump. They're losing their minds. But they created Trump. They made him to be the person that he is. They've made that. They've created a monster. But now they're scared of the monster. Yeah, should have just left them alone. Let a bear Let a bear robbed of her whelps meet a man, rather than a fool in his folly. Listen, this is so powerful. So there's some people, man, it's best you've never met them. That's the point. That's the point. It tells you the fool in his folly, you better off coming face to face with an angry bear who lost her babies, her whelps. You better off coming face to face with an angry bear. Because some of these fools in their folly, I'll tell you what, the bear losing her cubs, which means she's not happy. She would hate and hurt anybody in her way. That's the point. You say you better off meeting a bear who's angry, furious, having lost her baby, than to meet a fool in his folly. Why? Because that fool will drive you crazy. Listen, he was trying to drive these people crazy. But they handled him pretty well. I love their mindset. And this woman, when she said, I don't care, she said, sure, move on. She said, I don't care. I don't know about the case. Women lies all the time. Sometimes they get abused too. But you know how that is. I love it, man. He said nothing. And the second thing that stands out to me is these people know what they believe. They're very solid. You see, people didn't vote for Trump because of Trump. Let me tell you something. This is what I've come to realize. And this is why actually I've come to really appreciate Trump. People voted for Trump because Trump is standing for values that matters to them. It's that simple. Trump is doing things that matter to these people, and that's why they love him. Trump is standing for American values. Trump is bringing money back here. He's bringing it back home. This is why these people vote for Trump. Like, if these guys will learn this little secret, if they will learn this little secret right there, they probably could get well over 60% of the people who vote for Trump to vote for them. Put values together, fight for American values, talk about what people cares about, stand for what is right, put America's first, make America great again. You do these things, they'll vote for you. But instead, you got ideologues, you're doing lobbyist business, you pleasing rich men, those white liberals, social justice warriors and stuff like that. That's what you're pushing. Wokeism, ideologues, lies, deception. Men can get pregnant. They ain't gonna vote for you. In your heart, listen to what Peter says. Let me get my KJV. Need my King James Version. And I'm done. But sanctify the Lord in your hearts. Be ready always to give an answer to every man that asketh you a reason for the hope that is in you with meekness and fear. I love that. So know what you're talking about. Know why you believe the things you believe. Be intelligent. Be informed about why you vote, the reasons you vote. Don't do it because you're black. Black, you should be Democrats. Who tells you that? Biden's, if you're not black, if you don't vote for me, you're not black. Nonsense. Anyway, friends, thank you for listening. Like and subscribe to the page, click the bell icon for more. I'll see you in the next video. Have a good one. Bye.